Welcome to Fort Worth 148's podcast, where we meet to discuss Masonic topics and strive to build value in the Brotherhood. The opinions and statements of the participants do not represent any positions or stance of any Grand Lodge or Lodge and are solely the viewpoints of the participants.
All right, so this is our first recording for 2025. I am the current Worship Master for 148, Brandy Patton.
My name is Evve Kirkendall, and I'm a past master of 148, and I'm the current chaplain of 148. Welcome to our podcast. It's been a while. Brandy and I have been kind of on hiatus from the podcast for a while because we've had various and sundry things that have diverted our time and energy from podcasting. But now we're back, and we've got a great lineup for today's conversation. So first thing we want to talk about, we'll just dive right in, is kind of for our Fort Worth listeners and members that listen to our podcast to kind of keep up, maybe aren't coming to as active in the lodge as they'd like to be, but this is a great way for them to catch up. We'll catch up a little bit on what's going on in 148. So Brandy, what's going on with your year in this lineup?
So yeah, I'm blessed with probably the best officer lineup you could possibly ever ask for. Got an actual minister for chaplain. Yeah. Actually licensed minister.
Yeah, real one. I'm official.
I've got a 2-time past master for secretary. I've got a past master, past treasurer, and a past DDGM as my senior warden, and Cody Cox. My junior warden is Omar, who's in everything. I have no idea. He's got a resume that's got to be 10 pages long. Senior deacons, Nathan Garwood, sort of a brother-in-law, I've known him forever. Junior is Colin Renton, known him forever. They're both the Master Masons for 4 years now. 2 deacons, Jay and Dr. Baker, and Master of Ceremonies, David Culley. He's been a member for, I have no idea how long.
Really long time. He's got a really great past connection to Prince Hall Masonry, which is where he started his Masonic journey. So he brings such a great energy to the lodge because of that, I think.
Super passionate, great ritualist. He does whatever we need. See, I'm leaving out my Tyler. I've got Wayne. He's a public school teacher. God bless him.
God bless him.
Excellent in his Texas history.
Yeah.
And I've got my musician, Joe DeBon from Arizona, our junior past master's dad.
Affiliated with us from Arizona, comes from a great lodge in Arizona. I can't say enough about those guys in Arizona.
He's tone deaf, can't carry a beat, but he is my musician.
Yeah, and that's all that matters. As long as you can click play on Spotify, that's really the important part.
Oh, I got a French treasurer. We got Tyler back. He's on 4th or 5th year.
Yeah, he was Jeremy's the past master before me. I think was his 1st or 2nd year. So he knows our finances really well and has been doing a great job.
Yeah. When I'm sitting in the east, I've got about 9 past masters to my right and one on each side. Not stressful at all for a brand new Worship Master.
Yeah, but the great thing is you've really leveraged the leadership skill that you have in the lodge. I mean, like you were mentioning, you've got a past master and a former district deputy as your senior warden. That is a great resource there. And then you've got Omar as your junior warden, Omar Galeazzi, who is he is like has become super Mason. I mean, he is really active in Freemasonry across the state. If our listeners haven't met Omar, I'm sure you will at some point soon, because he's very active in the York Rite. He's active in the Blue Lodge. He is
Oddfellows.
He's in the Oddfellows, which is obviously not Masonic, but Masonic adjacent. He is just really defines what traveling man is. I mean, I think him and Kadeem Lowe are both kind of competing for the most traveled Texas Mason in our area, at least. So it's impressive that you've been able to take that leadership and really catalyze it in a good way that it's going to mean great things for the future of Fort Worth 148.
Even further looking down the road, though, you have to be really serious about who you pick for your deacons, because my junior deacon will be our 175th anniversary Worshipful Master.
Yeah, that's right. 148 is coming up on our 175th anniversary of being a lodge, and we're already starting kind of planting the seeds for what that's going to look like, which is just a few short years away. and we're going to have a big celebration. Watch this space, listeners, because we're probably going to have some exclusive drops information wise on that as we get a little bit closer to the big event. But just know that if you're not involved in Fort Worth 148 in terms of visiting or coming and being part of us, we're going to be really rolling out the red carpet for this big 175. So
Hopefully get the mayor there, maybe a senator, congressperson. We'll see. We've got time to plan. Trying to make a temple-wide event. We'll see how that works out. So
yeah, there's going to be so many because 175 is a big mile marker in any lodge's life, as everyone well knows, and so we're really going to try to make this a big Masonic thing, but also just make it an event that celebrates the craft in general in a very public way. Celebrate all the things that make 148 and Freemasonry a part of our society and a positive influence in our communities. So
I love the way these podcasts work because, literally our next topic is catch up. That's what we put down for the talking point, and we're talking about 5 years in the future.
Yeah, right.
Great. On the catch up note, though, we still got a charter on the wall. That's a good thing.
Yep. Thank you, Brother Sean Devon, Press Master, for keeping our charter on the wall.
Yeah, we raised the most brothers last Masonic year in our district. 6, I believe, is the number.
Yeah, we really raised quite a few Masons. We've got even more in the pipeline. It's kind of intimidating. We had a conversation, a couple of nights ago about how many people we have in the entered apprentice pipeline and trying to capture as many of those people. We know that there are a certain percentage of people who are initiated that just kind of drift off and they kind of realize what's going on, or they realize how much work goes into being a Freemason, and it's not really their season. So we're going to lose some of those, but we're really working as a lodge on how do we refine our systems so that we can capture as many of those EAs and continue their journey all the way to Master Mason.
That's the one thing that's different between me and I think previous Worshipful Masters is that sideline of past masters there. They're there for a reason. They don't mind working. So I'm going to try to put those guys to work, mentoring these EAs like the way we're supposed to do it. They want to contribute or they wouldn't be there. So I'm going to take every opportunity I can and got a good relationship with every single one of them, which I think is kind of rare these days.
Yeah, and I think that we're kind of in a unique season too, where a lot of lodges. I know it's been on social media a lot. What do you do with why do past masters suddenly, after their year in the East, disappear? They just kind of become ghosts in the Masonic community. And we've been very fortunate that we've got like a deck of the last 7 or 8 past masters that are still there, still active, sitting in the lodge with us every week. They are an active, which is kind of a new thing for us, at least in recent history.
And they're all wanting to help and contribute, not dictate.
Right, and that's one of the things it's a really collaborative environment that we've created at 148. I think, where we still joke about, oh, that's not how I did it in my year, but at the same time, when we make those jokes, we're all looking at how can we do this better? How can we make the Masonic experience better? How can we ensure that we're getting more people from EA to Master Mason and streamline that pipeline in a reasonable way that doesn't sacrifice on the stuff that makes Masonry important, but also doesn't put so many obstacles in the way that it becomes like a mess. So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that we've got going on right now, and especially after COVID, because after COVID, it was like ghost town.
Well, it's the Renaissance of Freemasonry. Either take it or don't. I mean,
yeah,
we're going to be around in 20, 30, 40, 50 years. The guys that don't, hopefully they are, but I don't see how they are. There's tons of people that want to have any kind of social outlet. A lodge is a great place for guys to do it.
So. Yeah. That's one of the things we have noticed is that we all talk about how coming out of COVID, we really appreciated our Masonic connections, and a lot of people who didn't have those are coming to Freemasonry because of that. They were so isolated during that period that it made them recognize how important connections and community really are. So
One other thing we started doing last year during Sean's year is we do a lodge leadership summit. Not going to go into a lot of details on that, but basically we rent an Airbnb out in the middle of the woods, somewhere in North Texas. Uh, Everybody that wants to be an officer meets up, about 15 of us, and we just hash things out. It's kind of a new thing we're trying out. We're doing it again. Not gonna give the exact dates for security reasons, but a couple months. That's a little bit of a line item budget, but I think it's worth it. We've got the party pad Grand Lodge again, a little further down the road this time. We've got a bigger parking lot. Uh, that's way down the road.
Yeah.
And what else did we do last year? It's kind of a blur.
Yeah, it went by so fast, but I will say one of the big things that I think was valuable was our leadership summit, because it gave everybody who was making themselves available for an officership in the lodge, or somebody who just wanted to serve. I mean, it wasn't just people who were appointed or elected. There are people there that are not currently officers but just want to serve.
Mhm.
And the kinds of having that space where you're in a room full of people who all have the best interests of the lodge there. They're all looking for, how can we make masonry in our lodge the best it can be? It made the conversations really raw and really honest in ways that sometimes you can't in a larger space where you've got all of your members present. And it really allowed for some I think some breakthroughs into what we want to do and what the vision needs to be moving forward.
Yeah, and you see some leadership talents and guys you had no idea they had them.
Yeah, it was very unstructured. That's another one of the things that I liked about it. Like we kind of sat around and talked, and then we ate, and we broke bread together. But really, it wasn't about the structure that made it work. It's not like we had like people coming in and talking about how to do Robert's Rules of Order or anything. Mm-hmm. It was really just us hashing out, what is this lodge going to do leadership wise? What are some of the priorities? Where are the landmines that we can foresee, and what landmines have we stepped on in the past 6 months and earlier?
Yeah, one of the things I really got out of it was my officer lineup. Like we do a lot of outside events, and nobody really takes charge. So what I'm doing is my junior warden, we're refreshment, right? Junior warden, if it's outside a lodge, you're the chairman of that committee automatically. Omar is great at it. Our pipeline for candidates of proficiency, the same legacy committee, that's under the senior warden. So they're tied to chairs. If we can keep that going on, it makes it obvious who's in charge. And then the guy next year knows what his responsibilities are going to be. We kind of had wardens. I mean, we know what they do in lodge. You can read the monitor, but I don't think a lot of lodges do as much outside stuff as we do. And you really got to have somebody's vision to follow to dictate, which we'll touch on Masonicon here in a minute too. That's part of that responsibility.
Yeah, we've definitely got a lot of moving parts, and it requires leadership. Somebody has to be the person who says yes to this and no to that, and structuring things in ways that make sense. And I think that's a great segue to talking about Fort Worth Masonicon, because it's just around the corner, and we're working some stuff out.
Yeah, so Masonicon, it's great. This will be is the 5th year now?
Yeah, something like that, 5th or 6th.
We had grand plans for it, and quite frankly, ticket sales aren't there. We're going to have a very large expense to offer what we were planning initially. We're not even covering 1/10 of that right now in ticket sales, and we don't expect to be a profit center. We would got to be fiscally responsible. We're probably going to decide very soon whether we're going to do the initial plan or make it smaller. We really want it to be for our lodge, our brothers, but also to invite others. And I think we've made a few mistakes along the way, and we'll work on it. We're going to decide very soon how we're going. We're going to do something, maybe not as grand. There's going to be food and drinks involved. We have the temple. We're probably going to do the Friday night thing, some kind of Saturday program. But details are forthcoming. We're going to make a decision very soon, probably this week, on what we're going to do, and we'll announce it later.
Yeah, and this week is right now we're recording on July 20th. So just know that by the end of July, we're going to have some, and very well, the information might come out before this podcast is aired.
We still have the building booked. I mean, we get that anyways.
Yeah. I mean, Masonicon has always been geared, what its dream was when it was kind of first imagined, was an educational opportunity in North Texas that kind of wasn't happening. Like the conventions, the Masonic conventions were kind of a new thing. They were kind of happening. We wanted to create something in North Texas for everyone to enjoy it, but mostly for 148. We really wanted more education. That's the thing that members kept saying. We want more Masonic education. And so Masonicon was our answer to that. And it kind of grew before COVID into something. And then we kind of tried to keep that something, but we haven't had the same energy behind it. And, talking to other people who have been in charge in Masonic convention world, we're finding out that they're kind of, feeling the languish as well. And it might just be that there's too many of them for this space, that there's just not enough Masonic lodges to support as many Masonic conventions that are going on right now across the United States. I think that's probably part of it. Also, it's, we like Brandy was talking about, there's a lot of money that goes into this. I mean, I don't want to discuss it here publicly because I don't want to make anybody sad that we might have to pivot, but we got some dollars sunk into this right now. And it is a huge expense. And I think that while we would love to do it, we also have to kind of read the tea leaves and understand that this isn't necessarily what people are clamoring for right now in the Masonic space. There was a time when Masonicons were like everybody was going to them and everybody was doing them. And now it doesn't feel like that's the space. What are your thoughts on that, Randy?
I think the biggest problem we had was the timeline. I mentioned on our Slack feed. If you're not planning 2 years in advance at our temple, you're not getting the weekend you want. It's a busy temple. We've got 8 blue lodges. We got all the appendant bodies in it. Friday and Saturdays are booked like 2 years in advance, and we really need to plan 3 years in advance. But we can get on the 2026 calendar if we book pretty quick. We did November because, frankly, that's all that was open.
Yeah, that was a big problem because we actually had it scheduled in the summer, and that was the first day we went to. And then we went and looked at the calendar and requested it, and it was like, "Yep, nope, that's not going to work." And then we pushed it to October.
We looked at September
and October, and then we realized that there was no way we were like, even some of the dates during the week were booked up. And then it was November, and we know that that's just not ideal because it's Thanksgiving and holidays and travel.
You can't compete with the Grand Lodge if they're doing something you don't want to have.
Yeah, we didn't want to. We had a Grand Lodge calendar for basically every appendant body, all of the grand bodies in front of us, and we were looking at all their weekends. And it was really, really difficult to not come into conflict with something or a holiday. And I think that definitely plays into something that's going on right now, is that there's just a lot going on. And, we have to plan so far in advance that it's just not really
If you plan on having
easy.
50 people there, it's easy. If you want to have 500, it gets complicated.
And it got complicated real fast because we have people coming we were planning on having people come from out of town. Out of state, as a matter of fact, as some listeners might already know. And so yeah, we're going to have some serious conversations about what it's going to look like this year. There's something going to happen. It's going to be Masonic education. It's going to be fellowship. It's going to be brotherhood. It's going to be fun. But is it going to look like what we dreamed of? Maybe, maybe not. We're gonna have to have some tough conversations about that.
But the positive spin on it is we have an officer chair tied to it who's responsible for the committee, and he has his 2 stewards. Master of Ceremonies is also jumping in there, and also the musician. So
it's going to be good. Whatever we do, it's going to be Masonically edifying. We'll put it that way.
We did the Summer Solstice Lodge, and that was a hit.
It was amazing, and it was, of all the things that we've done, that was like super shoestring budget.
Okay. That cost us about $100.
Yeah, we spent $100 on it, and it turned out quite a lot of people from all over the Metroplex and elsewhere. We got some brothers from Oklahoma. It was quite the thing, and unexpectedly so. I think we were doing it kind of hoping that we found a voice there and some people were interested, but we weren't sure. Frankly, it was another one of those things we were just kind of dreaming of what do we in 148 want. and our members were there supporting it. And then all of a sudden, everybody else joined in too, and they kind of loved it too.
And
so
honestly, if you want to put your name out there as Elijah does great stuff, we got as much clout for that as we do MasonicCon.
And that's the crazy thing, $100 versus like, we're going to be sinking, if we kept the plans going, we'd be sinking like 5 digits into this.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, almost 5 digits into this. And so that's a lot of money for any lodge. And
for an event we want to be self-sustaining, that
eventually. Yeah, and eventually it will be. So we'll just watch this space, watch 148 if you're interested in MasonicCon, if something's if you're interested in it. We're going to have something. We just know that we'll see what it's going to look like, and we'll have more information to come. So I think that also kind of ties in a little bit into kind of what we wanted to talk about. It's been a couple of years since 148 put out a podcast, let's be honest.
It is.
And the podcast space has changed significantly since we stopped broadcasting and since we're coming back in. And one of the things that we can't ignore is that Masonic drama has become the thing that every podcast, every Facebook post on Texas MasonicCon and the Masonic Facebooks, all of this social media seems to be really driving towards Masonic drama. And like, thumbnails on YouTube channels, thumbnails on podcasts, it's all spent on Masonic drama.
Yeah, and it's like supermarket tabloids. You get the headlines, the people follow you.
Absolutely. And I'm wondering, and this is not something I'm certainly pretending that I don't have the answer to this. I'm not sure that where I fall on it yet. This is a conversation Brandy and I thought would be kind of a fun conversation to have for our first foray back into podcasting, is that asking the question, is this Masonic drama trend that we're seeing in Freemasonry, in the social media space, in the podcasting space, is it a good thing? Do we want our dirty laundry, on a flagpole out in front for everyone to see? Because there's some dirty laundry out there that's been aired lately, and I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it. What are your thoughts, Brandy?
I mean, there's certain times where it actually makes a difference. I'm not going to dig too deep into what happened in Texas a couple of years ago, but without the mudslinging, we'd be a different fraternity right now. Yeah. So maybe for me, it was a positive. For a few people, it was a negative. So yeah, I don't know where to go with that, because you're gonna piss somebody off either way.
Yeah, and I think that just kind of talking about it in generic terms, not in any one specific event or one specific social media contributor or one influencer in the Masonic space is necessarily what I'm driving at. I think that there's this kind of notion that any attention, any advertising is good advertising. And that's kind of been the mantra for most brands and things like that. And Masonry is a brand. We have to acknowledge that. But at what point does the kind of any advertising or any press being good press, when does that stop being the case? How do we, control things? Because there's some stuff going on right now in the Masonic space that I kind of am wondering if this goes wide public, into the broader public conversation.
It will inevitably,
and it probably will. It depends on how big it gets picked up by some other, organizations and influencers outside of Freemasonry. But if it hits the public, I mean, it could really do some serious damage to Freemasonry, both positive, like for people who are on both sides of the arguments. So should we be as involved in the Masonic drama as we're in right now?
Well, it's kind of, do we want to go back to being secret, hidden, and not talk about us publicly at all? I don't think we want to do that. And the other thing is the publicity part of it. Who's benefiting from it? You got to look at it. Does it benefit the craft or something we do? If it doesn't, then maybe we shouldn't be doing it. If it's just benefiting your pocketbook, it's not very Masonic.
Yeah, I think that there's a certain amount of, and again, I'm not calling anyone out here. I think that anybody can talk about it on a podcast, anything they want to talk about. If somebody wants to post something on social media, they are more than welcome. I am all about like like talk about anything you want to talk about. I am a big mouth. Some people know that who've heard me on this podcast know that I'm not afraid to stake out a controversial yet brave position.
Well, there's a positive reason to have those guys on that pedestal up there, though, that I don't see negativity as a whole from anyone popular. Man, it's gonna be tough without naming names. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I know it's hard. It's hard, but I think we all know it. That's why I think that this conversation is important, because there is a certain kind of tabloid smear. It's not about the news itself that's coming out either on because I know for a long time. We can put the venue, the Texas Freemasons Facebook page.
Mhm.
That has definitely been an area where we get splattery headlines and people saying things and talking about things and arguing and debating. I've been in a couple of those debates on Facebook. I'm not going to lie about it, staking out what I think is a strong position. But
I think we forget that anything you put on there is on there forever.
Yeah.
20 years from now, we're going to read that and see what you said.
Yeah. And also, I just wonder, like, the people who are getting hurt by these things. I mean, I think about some of the drama that happens around Grand Lodge, for instance. Again, I'm not going to say any specific instances, but we all remember the Grand Lodges that were very full of drama in the years past. And I remember hearing stories about how these dramatic events affected not just the member that was affected, but by the family members, their spouses, their children. All of those things got hit by the splash of this, the shrapnel. And it makes me wonder,
why would anybody want to go that high in
the craft? And not only that, but how good is it that we would do something like that, and knowing full well that we're going to end up intentionally hurting someone like that? I don't know. I realized that there were a lot of people who feel like some of the drama that came out of all of that social media benefited the craft. I mean, you mentioned earlier that it's that there were some positive things that came out of it, being more transparent, how the decision-making process and the sausage is made at Grand Lodge. It was put out kind of for everybody to see, and now it's kind of become kind of normal for us to see a little bit more of a transparent side of Masonry, which is, I think, a positive thing. More sunshine for a disinfectant. I think that that's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, the last couple of weeks, I've seen some stuff on social media, and I'm like, wow, this is super hurtful for not only for the person and the people involved, but for the craft. And lodges. I'm thinking about some of the more recent lodge dramas that have been thrown out into the public sphere and talked about, like, it's just tabloid gossip at this point. I mean, and there very well might be some things going on behind the scenes, Masonically, but it just feels so gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one thing. When Sean's last day as Versal Master, I was like, brother, you did a great job. We have money in the bank, more than you started with. We have more members than you started with. Charter's still on the wall. That is all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of look at Grand Lodge the same way. The less we deal with them, the better everybody is.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be negative. It's just, we do things the way we want to do it. We follow the rules. They do their own thing. Let's do our own thing, and everybody's happy. That's the way I want to look at it. And how am I going to tie that back into the conversation with all the drama? Keep them out of our lodge. That's kind of what I want. So keep the conflict out, keep all the controversies out of it. Let's just do what we do behind closed doors and have our events.
I mean, I think that's one thing that 148 has kind of been good at, that we've been like online before most lodges were online. Mm-hmm. We've had a social media presence before a lot of lodges had a social media presence. We had podcasts before a lot of other lodges had podcasts. And so we've despite all of that being very public and public facing, 148 has managed to stay out of the drama for the most part. Mm-hmm. We've had our flare-ups just like every other lodge. I mean, there was a big flare-up my year where some things, blew up in our faces, and we had to kind of navigate that with some kid gloves and some members with some kid gloves.
Be very careful who you let in your lodge.
Yeah, be very careful about who you let in your lodge, people. That's the takeaway message from that. But even despite all of that, we never, despite all of those things that we're involved in, we've done really good at keeping our passions in due bounds. I mean, we've never really cultivated a culture of drama, and I'm wondering, is it a good? Do you think it's a good thing, just in general, for, let's say, a podcast or a social media presence, or a person? They don't even have to be a lodge, for instance, anything like that. Do you think it's a good idea for lodges to kind of, or these things to kind of, I guess, you know, uh, commerce with drama? Is it a good thing?
Uh, can you have friendly drama?
Yeah, I guess you can.
I mean, we like to rib each other all the time, so
Yeah,
that's great.
I mean, we're in Fort Worth. I mean, across the Trinity is Dallas, and we
Oh,
all
yeah.
know that there's a very friendly and collegial rivalry between both sides of the Trinity.
Yeah, and we embrace that and we work with them.
Yeah, we
So
kind of lean into it kind of as a fun thing to do, but when I think if it ever crossed the line into like hurtful, I think we would all kind of take a step back and say,
I think
wait a minute.
every member of our lodge would sit down with every member of their lodge and have a great time, regardless of circumstances.
Yeah.
It's Tanny what we're talking about, right?
Any lodge in
Yeah.
Dallas, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
but we do their soul. We split solstices, and they're all great guys. So
yeah, we try to do, we keep the drama as effective as necessary to keep like fun, but when it gets negative, we kind of stop.
Mhm.
I don't think that we've ever pushed it to a point where it got gross. And there's
trying not to be offensive, basically.
yeah, but yeah, I think that there's something about the level of drama that's being kind of exploited for, and this is one of those things. As podcasters, we know likes, clicks, and shares are a big metric of success of a podcast. How many people are listening? How many people are sharing? What platforms are you on? Those are things that are important, important metrics. And
Customer engagement,
exactly. So and feeding the algorithm that is social media is important too. You have to produce content that is not only being liked, shared, but it's also being commented on, because comments are a huge driver of algorithms. And the more comments you get, the more the algorithm loves you.
Mhm.
And so what's going to get more comments than women in Freemasonry? Pick that one. Or pick a controversial Masonic topic, and suddenly you're going to get likes, shares, engagement, all of the things that feed the algorithm. So I can't necessarily fault these people for doing that.
Well, the women in Freemasonry thing, that's going to take off because that is something that can destroy the craft. There are people that want to destroy us. I mean,
Yeah.
Going back to the 1860s, 1870s. Well, that's Civil War time. But yeah, since the beginning of time, since the 1300s, people wanted to destroy Freemasonry. And that is a great way to divide us. We don't let women in. It is a fraternity. They have their own independent body. They can do their thing. My wife's here right now. She doesn't want to join because she has her own thing going on.
Right.
She's being a great first lady, though.
Yeah, I have to give her some really heavy props about the installation dinner and everything that she probably planned pretty single-handedly,
Oh,
or
man.
with some help from the other ladies of our lodge.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was a lot of work that they put in. But those sorts of things, it's amazing to me that how much of it we kind of lean into, because you were saying that Freemasonry has been under attack for a long time from organizations and people who think that we're nefarious,
and we can't defend ourselves.
Yeah, and that's another thing, because the way that we operate, we're not supposed to engage in these kind of negative. But then we kind of throw red meat and chum into the water by posting we're posting podcasts about women in Masonry. We're posting about LGBTQIA plus inclusion in Masonry, how we feel about that. We're talking about like religions in Freemasonry, races in Freemasonry. Those are hot topic issues that we all kind of know. We all know lodges that if you're not a white Christian guy, you're not going to get into that lodge.
Right. We get members for very specific reasons. I can count on at least half of our last dozen initiates came to us because they didn't like something at another lodge they visited.
Exactly.
Whether it be racism, LGBT bias, what have you. They visited other lodges, they tried. They came to us because we're accepting and we do good things.
Yeah. And that's really interesting that that so much is being, there's just so much trade in this kind of divisive things that we're throwing the chum in the water in many cases, where people can kind of pick it up and run with it, because some of these topics, I mean, that have come out recently, especially we were talking around after stated meeting around a table very similar to this, about how if the public, like if this got on CNN, some of the things that are being said and talked about, if somebody took a screenshot of some of these comments on Facebook, or on the comment section in some of the podcasts, that could really do some damage, not only to the people who said these things, but to the craft in general, if we're seen as kind of endorsing those positions or being connected with them in some way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. I don't pretend to have an answer.
Man, the best thing I got is just squash it when you can in your lodge room and just worry about ourselves.
Yeah. And let me also say, just as a disclaimer, I'm just as much here for the drama as anyone else. Like, I'm the one who's scrolling through Facebook, taking a screenshot of something and sending it in our private chat to all the other officers and being like, hey, did y'all see this? Or have y'all heard about this? I mean, I'm just as much a fiend of it as anybody else.
We've evolved very far past Chris Hodap's blog.
Right. Because
which I still read and I love it.
Yeah, it felt like Brother Hodap and Freemasonry for Dummies was kind of like the prototype for keeping Masonic drama, in the public sphere and holding people accountable whenever they were doing something stupid in some jurisdiction.
And he did his research and he followed up with it too.
Yeah, and I mean, he was a Masonic journalist, and it was dramatic, but also there was like the follow through, and there was the investigation, the getting the facts straight. And now I kind of feel like it's kind of becoming like the TMZ-ification of drama. Like, it's about, catchy thumbnails and, titles to Facebook posts that are definitely meant to land the algorithm engagement piece.
Yeah.
And good for them. I'm not criticizing, because obviously we're talking about it because I'm engaging in it and you're engaging in it. So it's not a bad thing. It's just, are we being circumspect about how we're doing these things? So at any rate,
that ding there, that was not expected.
Yeah, we can edit that out if we need to.
Yeah. So how do you delve into the controversy and benefit from it without being affected by it, I guess, is what we're looking at.
Yeah, I think that there's a line that you have to kind of figure out. I think everybody's trying to figure it out right now. Where is the line that maximizes engagement and visibility, while at the same time minimizes collateral damage, both to the lodge, to individuals, and to Freemasonry?
And I think for a lodge, that weighs heavy on me. It's my responsibility to keep us out of it.
Yeah, I think as a worshipful master, you kind of have I remember my year, I can speak for my year, and I'm sure you're experiencing it now, that there was a time, I'll share my personal experience. There was a time whenever there was a lot of drama going on in the Masonic space. And I pretty much told all of my officers to stay out of the drama. I don't want to see your name on a comment somewhere that somebody screenshots and sends it to me, because this has, like, people's charters were being arrested for these kinds of things. And I overtly told all my officers, I do not want you engaging this on Facebook, because charters are being snatched and I don't want to be the guy. And so somebody posted something and I had to go to that brother and say, hey, I need you to take this down, because I've asked no comments about this subject, either positively or negatively. And it was an awkward conversation, because
we're grown men.
We
can't follow directions.
Yeah, but more importantly, like, my responsibility as the worshipful master, and yours now, is to keep that charter on the wall. And the Masons in the lodge, they don't always see how precarious that nail on the wall can be.
You offend one person, just the wrong guy, and it's gone.
Yeah.
And you got to beg for it back at Grand Lodge in front of everybody.
Yeah. And it's such it's a scary prospect. Anybody and I have nothing but sympathy for any lodge who's had to do that, but it is a huge deal. And one misstep can lead to all sorts of problems for a lodge. So I can see that, if 148 was involved in the Masonic drama, you would be the guy that's remembered as the guy who had the Masonic drama that year.
Yeah, my goal is no Masonic trials. keep the charter on the wall. No Form 1s at all, hopefully. No funerals.
Yeah.
Can't really prevent any of those, but that's the goal. That's what my mission is this year.
Yeah, from your lips to God's ears, that's for sure.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, we definitely
wait till next year. Like Cody deal with all that. Kidding, Cody.
That's dark. But I mean, kind of honest too. We don't want our brothers. We don't want to see our brothers hurt. We definitely don't want to see our brothers suffer or die. And we definitely don't want to see our charters arrested. And we don't want to see our lodge involved in this drama. And I mean, I can only imagine if I pulled up, Texas Freemasons, and I saw something about, have you seen what's going on at Fort Worth 148 today? ...
Mm-hmm.
I would feel like my soul has been ripped out through my nose.
My phone would blow up.
Yeah, your phone would blow up. My phone would blow up. I mean, we would all, and then our heads would collectively blow up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can only imagine what it's like to be involved in some of this drama. And so I don't guess after this conversation that I feel like I have any better sense on the Masonic drama, but I feel like that there is something coming out of this, that there's something that we can learn from this at some point. And maybe we'll dedicate a future episode of a podcast to maybe some good, best practices when it comes to how to curate social media content so that, podcasting and the like, that prevents it being overly about the drama, because it feels like to me that there's just a lot of drama channels kind of popping up left and right, that it's not necessarily channels devoted to it, but what I mean is a lot of episodes and a lot of posts that are dedicated solely to kind of poking the bear.
Yeah. Jump on Reddit, the Freemasonry sub. It's almost all controversial.
Yeah, that's Reddit.
That's the algorithm.
Yeah, but that's the algorithm, and that's how Reddit is. Mm-hmm. I mean, Reddit is the space where a lot of free speech there.
Not the real world.
Yeah, it's definitely not the real world. And it's also not necessarily brothers keeping circumspect, about what they're saying and the effects of what they're doing. They're just kind of vomiting negativity out there, sometimes under the guise of a screen name that isn't them, that nobody really knows who they are. Whereas if you're on Facebook, most of the time it's
surprisingly easy to figure out who they are, though.
Yeah, for the most part, though. Well, there's some very popular posters. I mean, we've got a member of our lodge that's
I changed my handle 3 times, and one of our members figured me out all 3 times.
Wow.
It's like, what am I doing wrong? It's like homebrewing.
You're on the dark web now.
Homebrewing, Harley's, Freemasonry. Well, that's him.
That's him.
Dang it.
Those 3 things put you together. You don't have to be a CIA agent to figure that out.
Yeah, I know. I gotta be better at that.
So, yeah. Well, do you have anything to add before we start wrapping things up?
I think that's a good first start. Goal-wise, I think every 2 weeks we need to release something at least, minimum.
Yeah, we're probably we're really thinking about what the vibe is going to be in terms of how often we're dropping episodes. We realized that the 2-year hiatus that we kind of laid off, we really needed it. I feel like as a lodge, we were a little burned out.
And I think one misstep we made was breaking up into separate teams. But we did have a couple of podcasts where there were 10 of us, and you just can't control that.
Yeah.
I think the 1, 2, and 3 is the secret number. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought about just doing one by myself because nobody really wanted to do a podcast for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I thought that would be too desperate looking. So we'll just not be that weirdo.
Yeah. And I think that our lodge, though, I think we were a little burned out. I feel like we were a little too, like, podcasting just we had talked about everything that there was to talk about at the time. And without getting into Masonic drama, which is not something that we've ever that's never been our brand.
The resolution was probably the most dramatic one we've done.
Yeah.
Well, every one of them.
Yeah. Every time I was on a real resolutions one, I know that I said some things that ruffled some feathers and raised some hackles, but it was always in good fun and in good, Masonic.
But they're also our most listened to episodes. But that's also because we're releasing it while people can listen to it on the way to Grand Lodge.
Right.
So,
And so hopefully I don't know, hopefully this is going to happen because I know Brandy and I are more committed than we've ever been for a while now to podcasting and to getting our, this out there. Mostly, again, just for the benefit of our 148 members and our North Texas brothers who are out in this area. One of the things that I think that we're also kind of recognizing is that there's a lot of people in the podcasting space.
mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of people who they want their name on a national level. They want to be talking national Masonic or at least statewide Texas Masonic stuff. And I'm very happy just staying in our little North Texas corner of the world and talking about stuff that matters to us.
I want to benefit my lodge and my brothers.
Yeah.
And if I can help other people along the way,
great.
That's the main goal.
Yeah. I think that us focusing back on North Texas and 148 and the things that really have fun, the things that we're doing that we have fun. Some episodes that I know we've talked about doing is 148 recently hosted a D&D tournament not long ago, which was a huge hit. That we're going to be talking. We're going to have an episode about that.
That's something we talked about before. How to make this stuff happen.
Yeah,
I literally just poked the badger last week. I was like, when are we doing this again?
Yeah, and literally, we just have passionate brothers who want to do something, and then it happens. And so we want to champion that. We want to talk to them about that. We want to talk about the things that we learned about solstice celebration and the things that came from that. That was a great event. And I'm excited about these events coming up and episodes.
I could do an entire episode on just event planning.
Yeah, and things like that. So we've got some really great things we got some great episodes coming up in the coming weeks and months. Fort Worth 148's podcast. So just stay tuned to us. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. You can let us know what your questions. If you have comments about this Masonic drama thing, feel free to drop some comments in whatever podcasting app you're listening to.
Maybe we'll bring you on and let you bury yourself.
Yeah, we're talking about bringing in some guests and talking about these things because there are people that I know are out there that disagree with me on some of these subjects, and I love talking to those folks in that respect. So if you got questions, you got comments, you got topics that you want to see us tackle and kind of get our perspective on, maybe we can have some Q&A sessions in the future from listener questions and things that they want to know more about 148.
We could do a live podcast with callers.
Yes, absolutely. That would be, I know we've thought about that, but we've never really kind of bridged the technology, but now we can pretty easily with the technology we're working with.
Yeah.
So we got some exciting stuff coming up, guys.
We're not doing video though, sorry.
Yeah, we're not going to be doing YouTube anytime soon.
I don't want to see my beard. You definitely want to see my beard.
Yeah, we both have faces for radio.
Definitely.
So yeah, podcasting is a fun space, and I'm glad we're back in it. So, but brethren, as you know, reach out to us. What are our contact informations there, brother Master of the Lodge?
Just fortworthlodge.com. That's the easiest one. All our social medias are on there. We're also on Facebook. We have a Twitter too, but I don't think we use it.
Yeah, we also have Instagram, and I know we were posting there fairly regularly, but now we're kind of figuring out how Instagram would benefit us and kind of rethinking all of that stuff. So, but reach out to us. You can email us through the lodge. We are always interested to hear about your feedback because that's how we decide that what we're talking about and the things that you want to hear, the things that we want to talk about. We've got a new podcasting space. It's actually pretty cool in here. The sound effects are really good. We might have to change a little bit of the acoustics, but y'all let us know if y'all like the quality of this.
And as always, it's hot.
It's hot in here.
Just like in our temple.
Yeah, it's hot in here. I think it's because the door is closed and we don't have any AC.
Just like the last one.
Just like the last one. So, but we'll let you guys know when they're posting and just keep up the good work out there, gentlemen.
All right, this is Brandy Patton signing off.
This is Evve Kirkendall signing off. Have a great day, guys.